All right, we're back on Morning Line. Tim Takis, elder law attorney. If you have a question about writing a will, getting a will, setting things up, power of attorney, and that's one of the questions Brian was asking as we went to the break. All right, power of attorney. I've got that with my folks.
Sure.
Now that's different than a conservatorship, which is a more, I guess, severe step to take. Correct?
Yeah. A conservatorship is basically, you haven't made plans. You have a cognitive impairment. You can't make decisions for yourself. You can't sign a document called a durable power of attorney where you name somebody to make decisions, but where you make decisions for yourself. So your family or somebody else goes to court and says, I need the protection, supervision, or assistance of the court for my father, who never decided a plan.
Yep. And now the father could be objecting to this. That's where the judge has to hear from doctors, maybe even hear from them. And it's not, I would not say that's a pleasant thing to do.
It's not really a pleasant thing.
I would not want to do that.
And for one is it's costly. It costs, certainly it can be costly. Second is, you don't really want to wind up that way. No. When you start thinking about it, do you really want your dad to be, and third is that what it means, I think for most of our families, you start thinking about this, is that who decides how to take care of your loved one? The judge.
Oh.
Right?
Okay, right.
When you think about it is that, I don't have any problems with Judge Kennedy here in Nashville, but Judge Kennedy doesn't know anything about,
little subtleties and things
or
like
whatever
that.
it is. And, the judge's job is really to make sure you're doing the right thing. But if you need to make a decision about, well, Dad can't live at home anymore, we need to move to assisted living, you got to go to court.
Yeah.
And say, Judge, I want to spend $4,000 a month or whatever to pay for Dad's assisted living.
Now, you would have to do that because your dad was refusing to do anything on his own.
Right,
now,
and then the judge appointed you conservator.
And then Dad's still refusing. So is that where you literally get sheriff's deputies to remove him from his house and take him to the nursing home?
I have never seen that happen, but I assume that's what could happen.
Well, I'm just wondering, what changes once I get the conservatorship? Okay, all of a sudden I have the power over him.
Right.
But it's still, I'm in the same situation I was before I went to the judge. He's still going to tell me no.
Right.
So, okay, well, Dad, I have a conservatorship. He's going to, so what?
Yeah.
Well, what do you do with it?
Yeah, and under those circumstances, the judge might say, well, Mr. Barris, put your big boy panties on, and pick up your dad and take him over to assisted living.
Okay, literally. I've heard cases where you almost have to physically shuffle someone over there. Better subterfuge.
Yes,
better than going for conservatorship. And you've said this, the worst thing anyone would think of doing, not the worst thing, but something that you don't want to do is lie to your parents.
Right.
And when they get to the point where they start really getting diminished mental capacity, to get them to do things with their best interests at heart, you yourself have told me, Nick, let's just call it what it is. You have to lie.
Yeah, and that's the unfortunate part. And we've talked about that. It's like I have like a list of 5 things, that it's most difficult for children to do.
Right. Oh, that's one of them.
One of them is taking money from your parents.
Yeah. Well, now you've told me there's plenty of kids that want to take money from their parents.
But literally, those aren't the ones that are coming to see us.
Right.
The way we talk about that group is we say is, you already know how to steal from your parents.
Yeah.
You don't need us. You don't need our help.
You've told me there have been some that have come to try to get you.
Kind of guy.
And you just show them the door.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't happen very often, but every once in a while you go, nah, this isn't going to be a good fit for this
I know what you're saying. The ones that don't want to, most you would think they're not concerned about. Like I have absolutely no concern about my folks leaving anything for me. I just spend it, be as happy and healthy as you can be.
Right.
I want to spend every red cent.
Right. Exactly.
Okay? So, but okay, that's one. Don't want to take any money. So I'm paying for what I can for them as it is now.
Well, here's the thing. When I say don't take money, basically it means is, okay, your dad says, he's, let's say, a hypothetical situation, or not so hypothetical, but maybe, you have a child that's got to taking mom to the doctor, right? And mom goes, well, I don't want you to do this for free. I want you to pay me, and your mom gives you $5, and you kind of want to go, well, $5 ain't going to cut it, Ma. But at the same time,
makes her feel better.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, take
because
that. That's fine.
You take it.
You're not taking it.
You'd be surprised how many children will go, no, I can't take money like that. Mom, and how does mom feel?
Yeah, guilty.
A charity case.
Yeah, charity case.
Charity case.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a dignity issue.
You need to think of all those things. That's great, because if you don't think of that, you just accept it.
You accept it.
Path of least resistance. Okay, so taking the money.
Maybe $5 isn't enough. You maybe say, well, Mom, it's really $100. Mom goes, I think I'll take a ride sharing service or something.
But
whatever.
It makes them feel better.
Exactly.
Right.
So you got that one, but as you said, another one is lying to your parents.
Yeah.
And as you've learned is that, okay, mom and dad can't live at home anymore. They're a danger maybe to themselves and others. Maybe there is a small crisis at home, which gives you the opportunity, to say, okay, now it's the time to move out of the house. So you go to assisted living or maybe an apartment or something. Kind of like the situation that you're in. And it's always like. Well, so when are we going to go home? Well, probably in another couple weeks. As soon as the doctor, where there's some things that we need to still take care of. Well, another couple of weeks never really ever shows up. Yeah,
you just keep. And the thing is, they don't remember the white lies, which are all in their best interest. They don't. With time, they don't. But if there's nothing else you remember from this when you come to the point where you're dealing with the situation, is once you get them somewhere and they keep asking, just put it off. Don't say no.
Right.
That's going to upset. Don't say no, you're staying here.
Right.
You say, you know what, you're right. We'll talk about it, and I think tomorrow we'll take a step. And the next day, tomorrow, and tomorrow. And eventually, they not just they accept it and they forget.
They accept, exactly.
Because that's part of it. The reason we're doing these lies is because they're being forgetful.
Right. And because, what they really want to hear from you is that, are you caring for me?
Right. Yeah, and I can understand
and
how
you're saying is, you're listening to me and you're caring for me. The answer is not no, because that means like you don't care about me.
Right. Right.
Is that's the perception.
Yeah.
So yes, we are working on this. Yes, we understand what your concerns are. Yes, hopefully we will get you in a place that's good for you.
Right.
Yes, that's what they want. That's what our loved ones want to hear from us.
At some point, they object to everything, no matter how good it is, even if they understand it, because they don't want to give up control.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And that's understandable.
And really, it's a way for them to be able to stay in control.
Yeah.
But that's unfortunate. But none of us are really very good at seeing that.
No, see, that's the thing.
When you start thinking about that, is that
you can't get angry about it. You have to understand where it's coming from.
Exactly. It's like you wake up in the morning and you say to your wife, I think I want to be a ski instructor. In Central Colorado.
Yeah, sounds good.
And your wife goes, "Have you been potted?"
Yeah.
Did somebody take over your body or your, whatever it is while we were,
that's not right.
And it's like, okay, well, maybe that's the right thing, but still, it's like there's that sense of unknown.
Yes.
How are you going to, what's going to happen now?
Yeah.
And it's the same thing.
That's scary for them.
It really is.
Now, the power of attorney can be set up. That's different than the conservatorship, and that was one thing Brian was asking about. You can get that with the agreement of your parents or whoever you're getting it for. They sign over, and they still have control, say, of their bank account. That will allow you then to move their funds around. You can't take their money and put it in your account.
Exactly, because of what a power of attorney is that, we've talked about this before, but the legal term for this is called a fiduciary relationship.
Yeah.
And a fiduciary means is that you put your interest above the person's, above your interest the other person's interest are above yours.
Right. Okay.
That you're handling their money, you're handling their legal and financial affairs, and that makes you a fiduciary of them. So you can't self-deal.
Right.
You can't do a lot of things unless the instrument says that you can do certain things. And we do have some of those documents where they're very carefully crafted.
Right.
Where sometimes it becomes necessary.
Yeah.
But you're exactly right. Is that it's a sharing thing.
Yeah.
One of my colleagues, I thought was the great description is it's like owning a car and you have two sets of keys. Okay, Nick, here's one set. I'll keep my set.
Yeah.
Okay, I gave you power of attorney with my car.
Yeah, so I have access to it, and hopefully, the idea then, hopefully, is that you're doing this so you can kind of take it over, and they acknowowledge it. So some of the financial
and a conservatorship is where the judge takes both keys away from me and gives them to you.
By the way, with the conservatorship, if your person you are now conservator for does something and hurts someone else, you're responsible, aren't you?
That's right.
That's a bummer too. Something to think about.
It is.
You know, if you do that, you better make darn sure good old dad or mom aren't behind the wheel and wrecking the car. Because when that happens, it's just like maybe if your child does it. It's on you.
Right.
Okay.
And you know, you've been in Nashville long enough to know every few years, you know, there are problems with conservatorships. They wind up in the front page of the newspaper, and
and sometimes, you know, you're asking for it and it's not time yet, and I sympathize. Let's take a call from Dorothy. Dorothy, good morning. You hopped in, we'll take you. What's on your mind?
I have a problem with my sister. She went into the hospital from a fall last year in May, and she went to the nursing home for rehab. And then she didn't want to come out, so she's been there almost a year now. And nobody has power of attorney or anything. The only thing that I have is power of attorney of her finances. Will I be able to sell her home, because her money is almost running out, to pay for her expense at the nursing home?
Well, the answer is yes. I mean, if you have a durable power of attorney for finances, it's what we typically.
No, this is for the bank.
Oh, just for the bank. Okay, only applies to the bank account. So where did you get the power of attorney?
At the bank.
At the bank. Okay, that's why.
Well, she had to sign it over to her too, though, didn't she?
Your sister would have to have signed that document. Can your sister sign a? Can she sign another power?
Well, she did at that time, because she's completely deaf and she's almost blind, and already blind in one eye and losing the sight in the other eye. So she's the type of person, she won't sign anything. She throws a fit about anything. So I have tried for over a year now to try to get something done about this, where we know what to do with her. The doctors won't tell us anything about her condition. The nursing home won't tell us anything. So we're just at a standstill. And she's got, I think, a living will and something else in there, but she never did go and have it notarized or anything.
Yeah. See, it sounds like for Dorothy, unfortunately, is that if she can't get her sister to sign the document, the durable power of attorney, then she's going to be winding up in a conservatorship.
Yeah. So what? But now, how does she go about doing that?
Basically, it's going to finding a lawyer wherever. Dorothy, where do you live?
In Columbia, Tennessee.
In Columbia?
Okay.
Is to find a lawyer in Columbia. Is that where your sister is as well? Yeah. Is that you find a lawyer in Murray County, and you're going to be petitioning the court and ask to be appointed your sister's conservator.
Which then would allow her to do whatever she needs.
Decisions,
her sister's possessions all become under her control.
Right. Yeah.
And her bill out there is over $6,000 a month, which that will include some of the stuff they add to it. And her medicine is over $1,000 a month.
Wow.
And her insurance is over $1,000 a month.
Yeah. And see, at some point, I guess what you have to think about is that if your sister lives long enough, then the money will run out, and she'll be on the state Medicaid program, 10 Care Choices program, but there won't be any other money for any supplemental needs that she has.
No, they won't.
You know, and that's where you might want to talk to somebody. If you'd like, you can contact my office, and I can find somebody that help you in that area.
Yeah. Her money, I've got to go in probably next week to get the rest of her money out of a CD in order to pay for her care out there. And the money will soon be running out. And if the house has to be put up for sale, it might take a while to, get that house sold to take care of her.
Yeah, that's hard. Yeah, I understand. That's a lot of. By the way, I'm just curious. How old is your sister?
She's 78.
Okay, so she's older, and you worry about money running. By the way, when it does run out, okay, you said she would get on the 10 Care plan.
Yeah.
And would she be able to stay in the same facility, and they'd pick that up, I guess? Yeah, but there would be periphery stuff would not have any other money available.
That's right. I'm going to assume that she's probably in a facility that participates in the state Medicaid program.
Okay.
Not all of the nursing facilities in Tennessee do. All right. But in other words, her sister, she meets the medical criteria, which means she needs daily nursing home care. She meets the financial criteria, which means she can have a house and $2,000.
Right.
But
the important point here as we go to the break is that we've had calls before where they say, does Medicare pay for nursing homes?
Right,
and we say, no, they don't. But what happens is once you are indigent and no longer have any more resources, if you've been in one of these facilities, then it does kick in. So in a way, it will pay if you have the need. But it's not going to pick it up for you if you have any other resources.
Right.
All right, we got to take a break on that note. We'll follow up on her. And Dorothy, stick around too, because we'll have the contact information up for Tim, because he can at least give you more information. You know, call his office. There's people there that can help her figure out how to go for that conservatorship and find a way. Because, yeah, she's in a pickle right now. She has to get access to this. We'll take a break. Back with more of your calls right after this.